The moment Rashida Frost stepped into the spotlight, her hand gently cradling her growing belly, the entire room seemed to pause. The sparkle in her eyes spoke volumes, a story of joy, hope, and renewal. It hadn't been an easy journey, but it was one she had fought for. There was no mistaking the excitement in her voice as she shared the news with the world. She was expecting again, carrying Kirk Frost's child. For Rashida, this was more than just a simple announcement. It was a victory, proof of her strength, her unwavering belief in love, and the deep bond she and Kirk shared. Their marriage had endured its fair share of struggles, betrayals, misunderstandings, and the heavy weight of their complicated past. Yet, despite it all, they now seemed ready to rebuild something meaningful together once again. "I'm happy to say that Kirk and I are expecting again," Rashida said, her smile warm, her eyes shining with emotion as she addressed the media, surrounded by flashing cameras. "But you haven't signed anything yet, and he hasn't either. Is that because you two are still trying to work things out? Or does it just make more sense to remain separated for now?" "Well, the thing is, we've sat down and had conversations about possibly handling things without attorneys to see if we can reach some kind of agreement on our own," she explained. "And at the same time, it's not even just about trying to work it out. I'm also at a point where I'm like, okay, I have most of the information I need, but am I really ready to serve him with these papers? This is the first time something like this has happened in our marriage, and I'm wondering, despite all the craziness, if divorce is really the immediate answer. Do we just take that step right away, or should we separate and try to work out things like percentages and other details? That's kind of where we are right now. Right now, we're just considering the possibility of not going through with an actual divorce. At least, not at this moment. We're taking the time to figure out what we truly want, to see if we'll eventually move forward with the divorce process, or if that won't even be necessary. Who's to say? For me, the biggest concern isn't just about filing for divorce. It's about staying focused, avoiding unnecessary stress, and preparing for this baby, whether he chooses to be part of the situation or not. It's been a difficult journey, but we're moving forward. Our love is stronger than ever, and this baby is a blessing. Kirk stood beside her, his expression just as proud as hers. Despite the mistakes he had made in the past, mistakes that had once pushed Rashida to her breaking point, this moment made it all feel worthwhile. This was his redemption. This child symbolized hope for their future, a fresh start in their complicated relationship. It was a sign that they were working through their issues, committed to rebuilding and strengthening their family. As the news spread, social media exploded with reactions. Fans, friends, and critics alike shared their thoughts. Some congratulated the couple, praising them for overcoming their struggles, while others questioned the timing and the state of their relationship. But for Rashida and Kirk, outside opinions didn't matter. They had weathered the storm together, and now they were focused on what was ahead. However, while Rashida and Kirk embraced their new chapter, not everyone was celebrating the news. In fact, Jasmine, the woman at the center of so much drama in their marriage, was devastated. Jasmine had always been a complicated presence in Kirk and Rashida's lives. She had entered the picture years ago, bringing with her a whirlwind of emotions and conflict. The paternity of her child had been a major source of tension between Kirk and Rashida, and although the couple had eventually found a way to mend their relationship, the unresolved emotions and the scars of the past still lingered. At one point, Jasmine had truly believed that Kirk would choose her. She had convinced herself that the bond they shared was something deeper than just a fleeting affair. But over time, that dream had slowly crumbled. Her relationship with Kirk had never been the fairy tale she had envisioned, and the reality of it had turned out to be far more painful than she had ever anticipated. Now, as she saw Rashida's announcement, every emotion Jasmine had tried to bury came rushing back. The past, the betrayal, the shattered hope, it all hit her in an overwhelming wave of heartbreak. As the truth settled in, she found herself spiraling. She had spent years clinging to the hope of something more with Kirk, only to now see him and Rashida standing together, stronger than ever, celebrating a new baby. Meanwhile, she was left alone to pick up the pieces of her broken dreams. Jasmine broke down in private, away from the cameras and the public eye. How could she not? She had given so much of herself to Kirk, only to realize that in the end, it still wasn't enough. The family she had once longed to build with him was now being created elsewhere, and the pain of that reality was unbearable. Sitting alone in her apartment, her hands trembled as she scrolled through the endless messages on her phone. Texts from friends offering sympathy, and others from people who didn't know the full story, but were eager to take sides. None of it mattered. None of it changed the fact that Kirk had moved on, and, more importantly, that Rashida was the one who had won. Her mind replayed the memories, the times Kirk had reassured her, the moments when she had truly believed he cared. But now, it all felt like a distant illusion, a chapter that had ended long ago. Rashida had won. She had fought for Kirk's love and had succeeded in ways Jasmine never could. Tears streamed down Jasmine's face. She had tried to be strong, had tried to move forward, but the pain ran too deep. It felt as if every step she had taken over the years had been undone in an instant by the announcement that had just shattered her world. "This wasn't how it was supposed to be," she whispered through her tears. "I was meant to have a family. I was supposed to have everything I had dreamed of. And now... She was left with nothing but a shattered heart and the bitter sting of rejection. Kirk's attention had always been like a pendulum, swinging from one woman to the next, leaving her caught in the middle. And now, she finally saw the truth. She had been the afterthought, the mistake, the one who would never get the happy ending she had once hoped for. Yet, even through her sobs, Jasmine knew deep down that this wasn't where her story ended. It was just another painful chapter, one that, like all others, would eventually close. She had no idea how long it would take to mend the wounds left behind, but there was one thing she now understood with absolute certainty. No amount of love she had for Kirk would ever be enough to make him choose her. Meanwhile, Rashida and Kirk were moving forward, their hearts filled with renewed hope. They had endured the worst together, yet here they were, proving what they had always believed was possible. Rebuilding their family, repairing the fractures in their relationship, and stepping into a new future. They had each other, and with their baby on the way, it felt as if they had everything they needed to make their family whole once again. The contrast between the two women couldn't have been more striking. Rashida stood in peace, embracing the life she had fought to build, while Jasmine was left devastated, staring at the broken pieces of her dreams. For one, this was a moment of celebration. For the other, it was a painful reminder of all that had been lost. But time has a way of mending even the deepest wounds, even those that seem impossible to heal. Rashida and Kirk's journey was only just beginning, while Jasmine would have to carve out a new path for herself, one that meant facing the lessons of the past, and, one day, releasing the pain that had defined so much of her life. For now, the world watched as Rashida and Kirk embraced their happiness. But for Jasmine, the road ahead was one of quiet reflection, as she struggled to piece together the fragments of a life she once thought she would share with him.